Yo, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to 101.1 The Culture.
Mhm.
And today I actually have a very special guest with me. I consider him a friend, but he's also a mentor. Um, as you guys know, a lot of times you'll see us here at the station. We're housed in the Crescent Cultural Community Center, and we do a lot of stuff here for the youth. And it wouldn't be possible for us to
Mhm.
even be here if it wasn't for my brother Walter Umrani. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing fine. Thank God for that, Brother Benny. And thanks for everything that you are doing. Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We get a chance to walk
Mhm.
in the footsteps of people like yourself that have paved the way for people like myself and brother Ski and all of us that put in a lot of work in the city. So we are full of gratitude.
You're doing a fine job.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this is your first time on the culture, although you're here all the
That's
time.
right. That's right. I've been seeing your work. And, I'm involved in this campaign to have a big movement and focus on education and training. So
Awesome.
I'm glad you're taking the time to invite me to come over and speak to your listening audience.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm before we get so deep, right? I want the people to know a little bit about you. And normally when I get on here, I tell people we're gonna get in your business a little bit.
That's okay. I'm
we,
I'm 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 open.
for sure,
Transparency. I
very
I have
transparent.
no secrets.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So first thing we're gonna do is tell them who you are, where you're from,
Okay.
and give them like a little bit about your background. I would say give them the elevator pitch, but you've got an, an enormous amount of wealth and stories, and I want to touch on some of that in the interview. But kind of give us a brief overview, and then we're gonna dig deep into the business.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I'd like to give thanks to Almighty God, the creator of the heavens and the earth and everything in between.
Amen.
My name is Brother Walter Umrani. Umrani means cultural development and civilization. And I'm formerly from New Orleans.
Formally, okay.
You've been there. I've
Yes.
lived there my whole life. And while in New Orleans, I was a supervisor for Chevron Additives Division. It was my job in logistics to make sure that the systems was running, installation of petroleum equipment. I modified it and maintained it, and I had all my crews lined up. And Chevron has been good to me, and
Good,
I
good.
gave them good service. And that's one thing that I promote, especially when we're talking about the school system and training. Black excellence. There is no competition for that.
Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
telling you, you can go among the most racist people. You can go amongst the most vicious and vile people. When you come with dependable quality, excellence, service, and technical skills, they can't touch you. And with that, it give you strength too.
Absolutely.
You don't
Knowledge is power.
you don't have to scratch where you don't itch. You know what you're talking about, and that's what we're working on. But getting back to my personal life, I'm the eighth child of 15.
Wow.
My mother had 15 children, and we come up in New Orleans in the housing developments and brothers and sisters. I'm 72 years old. I came up during a
Hold up.
time.
Before you go any further,
Yes, sir.
you said 72.
72 years old. Yeah. Yes, sir.
See,
Mhm.
y'all know black don't crack. Black don't crack. I'm hoping that when I get 72, and I didn't mean to stop you, but
No, it's
every
okay.
time you say it, I'm just like, man,
Hmm.
God's been good to you.
God has been good to me. And we'll talk about some of the things that have helped me to, you know, it's a lot of us reach 72, but if you're 72 years old on dialysis, taking 4, 5 different medications, running to the doctor every other week, that ain't living.
Uh
And stick with me, I'll show you how to get there. But brother Benny, I want to tell the people that we came up poor, and there's other ways you can look at it. Because in the days when we came up in the housing project, all the fun we was having, we didn't even realize we were poor. It was us and what we had. It wasn't all that killing like you see of each other today either. When I was a young boy coming up in the Desire and the Fisher Housing Projects in New Orleans. But that's my upbringing, and I enjoyed school. I played basketball, I played music, and that's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. Please pardon me as I drift off. All of our children, we had an interview with a gentleman. He only had 2 children, and both of them grew up to be millionaires. So I wasn't interested in talking to his children. I wanted to talk to dad.
Okay.
I wanted to know, Dad, what's your secret? How did you raise? He said, all your children, he made it mandatory that when they were in school, they played a sport. I mean, it had to be no Serena Williams or no Michael Jordan, but they played an organized sport.
Okay.
Number 2, they had to learn a foreign language. You know, it may not to be proficient, but you know.
They had to study it.
Thank you. Okay. That was very important. And playing school, sports, foreign language, and they had to play a musical instrument. You know, I'm gonna say they'll be the giants in the world, but they had to know the basics, the mathematics of music, harmony.
So you know I'm into music. So when you talk about the mathematics,
that's right. A lot of people don't understand that.
It's math.
It's math in there.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what that man told me. And it was that conversation was short and sweet. And this gentleman, mind you now, this was at a conference, brothers and sisters, of all millionaires. So I had no business really being there, but I was there. But he told me, and he stopped everything that he was doing when I asked him that question, because nobody was asking the question. Everybody was there trying to see how I could be a millionaire too. I was interested in the generations that's coming up. Your children that's listening, send them to me. I'll show you how to do it. My baby daughter is a doctor in Oakland, California, pediatrics.
Wow.
No, well, you talk to Brother Walter, I can prove what I'm saying. I raised a doctor. Now, what's important in that, Brother Benny, and I'm asking y'all please to listen to me. All of our children are brilliant. My daughter had a father at home that worked and had resources and set that home environment for her talents to be fully exhibited. And that's what's lacking in the Black community. We got to bring the families back together. Our children are brilliant, but if they don't have the foundation at home and the support at home, they will not reach their full potential. And that's on us. And I'm giving you an opportunity to vote for Brother Walter. We're going to make this thing come full circle. But anyway, back to me, and I'm sorry
you're good, because
my interest is the advancement of our people.
And one of the things that you said that I kind of clung on to was you asked about the upcoming generation. So
yes, sir.
As we get older, we tend to grasp onto different interests and different passions.
Mm-hmm.
I've been around you now, we've gone on about 5 years.
Yes, sir.
You've always had a very strong passion for the youth. And of course, you have children of your own. What made you so passionate about seeing the development of our young people?
Well, first of all, Brother Benny and ladies and gentlemen, I know who you really are. When we see the murder of each other, we see the ignorance, we see our women acting like,
yes,
some strippers and shaking their naked behinds in front of the whole world. I know who they really are. That young man out there with that gun that's shooting and killing, he might act like a predator, as Miss Clinton called us at one time. He may act like a cold-blooded killer, but he is still of God. I know what his real nature is. And with the right word, brothers and sisters, coming from the right sources, we can affect change in our people. Never put them down. Them young sisters out there swinging on a pole and shaking their behind, and every other word is MF this and MF that. She may act like a tramp, but that's not her nature. That's not what she really is.
Okay.
That's right. And I'm going to put that out there. So don't turn your nose up at each other.
We
And
still got to
I,
embrace people.
I see some of that happening. You know, we
We
get to
try
certain levels
and we try to throw away what society may call them the dregs of society, right?
right. That's right.
And
That's right.
so I come from, I don't want to say a hood background per se, but grew up most of my life without a present father figure. I knew my father, had
Yes,
a
sir.
good relationship with him over time, but my father wasn't present
Yes, sir.
in the household. Divorced at a young age, moved to California when I was young, got involved in all the wrong activity, and I guess the blessing for me was that no one threw me away
Wow.
because I could have easily been on the other side
Yes, sir.
and
Deep in it.
deep on the other side, right?
Yes, sir.
And I had praying parents, I had praying grandparents, and you know, something in me turned one day that said, you know what, this ain't the life I want to live.
Yes, sir.
And it didn't happen to me until I turned 30.
Wow.
You know, I spent 30 years or the bulk of my youth um cutting up.
Yes, sir.
Cutting up. And I ended up by the grace of God and um being able to do some self cultivation as well because I had a
Wow.
desire, right?
Yes, sir.
That I wanted to do differently. And I think and I'm just we rapping. You know, I think sometimes what has happened decade after decade after decade that we have stripped away the foresight due to lack of development on the younger years. And part of that is parenting. And part of that is what has been going on in education in school. And that's one of the things that we definitely wanted to talk about today because
Yes, sir.
that's one of the areas that you want to impact is education because you are running for
Yes, sir.
Birmingham City Schools
Board of
Board of
Education.
Education District 1.
That's right. Being as you segued into that, what could be more important, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, than the education of your future that's coming up? What could be more important than that? Because whoever controls the education system controls the destiny of your future. We know that. We all sit at home and complain about what's happening and not happening with the school system. But now you're looking at someone that's giving you an opportunity to challenge the system. And those who, the other candidates running in District 1, I have no squalls with them.
No quarrels.
No quarrels with them. I am fighting a system. I'm not fighting individuals. It is a system that has disrupted the natural pattern of family, supportive family, like the support you were talking about, the the focus of education and training. That must be a focus other than as a parent, for example. Once I get by food, clothing, and shelter that I provide for you,
Right.
the next thing is your education. I don't care what nobody else says. I get your house, I keep the lights on,
Yeah.
and you got something to eat and you got decent clothes to wear. Once that's accomplished, your education have to be number one. And it's almost like, Brother Benny, we have just given it over to someone else, and the results are not good. And my father died when I was 7 years old. And be honest with you, psychologically, I still deal with that.
Okay.
But I have vivid memories of him. He was always this cool. He was so cool. As a matter of fact, and mind you, I had all those other brothers and sisters. I never heard my father's voice louder than what I'm speaking to you right now.
Wow.
I never heard a cuss word in the house. That's how I came up. And that's the kind of environment I only accept now. If you notice here at the center,
Yes.
we don't put up with no whole lot
No,
of
we ain't
F
a whole lot.
bombs and
No.
all of that. We have standards here. But let me say this, Brother Benny. after I retired from Chevron, and mind you, I wasn't just no little plastic card running around. I was a senior supervisor at Chevron.
Yeah.
And just the same way I'm talking to you with determination, that's the same way I stood up on principle to the corporate leaders at Chevron. And I made millions of dollars for them because of Black excellence. You can't get around that. Okay, let me say this. When I retired, I bought this community center. I could have used my retirement money, invest in other things to bring more money home.
Right.
But the center, we have our own office buildings here. This is a center that I bought for the people and for progressive, with the term visionary people like this brother to come in and provide a place where they can come in easily and feel comfortable like it's their own. I tell Brother Benny, oh, this is your place.
Correct.
I say, I've told you that. And I sacrificed my retirement after I took care of my, I bought a big home here, the food, clothing, and shelter part.
Yeah, the food, clothing, we took care,
once I took care of that, then I took the rest of my money and bought this community center. And I spent a lot of time, brothers and sisters, in New Orleans when I was there. I've been here 9 years now. But while I was in New Orleans, I headed up the Peacekeepers movement in New Orleans, where we would actually go in the community and talk to them young brothers out there. And I mean, in summer, we would go into the worst neighborhoods where the attention was really needed. And if I could segue a small point, them young brothers, some of them stopped with tears in their eyes. And I'm talking about, these were some of them hardcore young brothers. You can look at them and tell they meant what they said and said what they meant. And I've had some of them hardcore brothers with tears in their eyes tell me, man, nobody ain't never come and talk to us like this. I'm telling you, that really happened to me. And that touched me, brothers and sisters, because we can't let our young people just be thrown away. But anyway, I've seen the bodies laying in the street because I would go out there. The people would call me when there were shootings, and I would go out there, and I cannot stand and allow what I'm seeing happening with the lack of focus, lack of marketable skills and technical skills. It got all our young people out here taking a path of destruction because they have no marketable skills. And that's what the basis, they can't exercise Black excellence and gang banging. That's not where we're going. Black excellence and technical skill and business. Because a lot of them want their own business. We can do it. And it just hurts my heart to see them lying in the street and killing each other. And I invite, especially some of the Black leaders or so-called Black leaders. So why you say so-called, Brother Walter? Because, and I'm gonna be frank with you. I worked with engineers all my life.
Correct.
Engineers, whenever there's a problem, they don't stop until they get to the core the root cause of that problem.
Correct.
Because when you think you got the root cause, the engineers come in and find 4-5 layers under that you didn't never think about that contributed to the situation. And that's how I look at it, brothers and sisters. If we had true Black leaders involved, we wouldn't have repetitive failures year after year after year. We would have been on top by now. And I'm not just speaking about Birmingham. All of these inner cities where you have majority of Black and brown students live in their educational system, and year after year after year, 80% of them are still classified as poor and disadvantaged. Year after year after year. We have to go to it with a scientific approach. Take the politics out of it.
Okay, now you're talking my language. You're talking my language.
All right.
Take the politics out of everything, right?
Then you'll get results.
Because everybody is going in with all these hidden agendas.
Exactly.
And my whole thing, when it comes to dealing with the youth or even business in general, let's take feelings out of it, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's take the big I's and little U's out of everything, right?
Yes, sir.
What needs to happen? Create a plan.
Yes, sir.
After you do a root cause analysis. And so when I do business, right?
RCA.
Yeah. I call it the 5 whys. So not who, what, where, when, and how, but why. Okay, why is
Why
that?
is that?
Okay,
Keep
then
asking.
why
They
is that?
call it a why tree analysis.
Okay, you're hip, right? And you know
And
I'm a
you'll
business,
get to it.
and you will eventually come to the root cause
Mhm.
if you remove ego and feelings. I didn't ask you how did you feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How did it make you feel? I
That's
asked
right.
you,
Let's deal with the
why
facts.
is this?
That's
Let's
right.
deal with the facts, right?
That's right.
Not saying that feelings don't matter,
Uh-huh.
but let's talk about what needs to take place. Why does it need to take place? What is the end result that we're looking for? And what are the steps to get there, right?
Yes, sir.
And so when you remove politics, when you remove feelings
out of
and
it.
you get to the root cause,
Uh-huh.
now we can deal with things in a systematic way.
To bring about that improvement. That's right. Now, you don't need to have a master's degree in management and organization
No.
logic. You just laid it out. What happens is when you're going through that why tree analysis and you get to, okay, this is a contributing factor to the point. Well, I might be in that department. Then that's when feelings come in and people start getting defensive. And you got to take that out, brothers and sisters. What you just laid out is a great plan. For example, let's look at it in a simplistic way. You and I had a little conversation before the broadcast.
Right.
In the school system, you have the superintendent, you have administrators, you have the teachers, you have the students, and the parents. Right now, the person that's on the front line of this whole thing is our dedicated teachers. They're getting it from the administration side. The students are running them crazy. And from all reports, very little, not none, but very little parental support, and there's wide reasons for that. We'll get into
sure.
that.
And that's a whole nother talk.
That's a whole nother talk show because a lot of our people are struggling, brothers and sisters. Our children, I say about 80% of the children in Birmingham City schools are classified as poor and disadvantaged, and they get Title I's money for that.
Right.
But if you classify that poor and disadvantaged, that means you came from a poor and disadvantaged neighborhood. That means your parents are poor and disadvantaged. You came from a poor and disadvantaged home. This is what that means.
Systematic.
99, it's a systematic thing. And the reasons of our parents are poor and disadvantaged is because they lack the technical marketable skills that I've been talking about. Okay, that's the situation. You can't throw them out. We have to deal with that. Right. And there are many nonprofit organizations like you have here at the center, that's willing to help some of the struggling families, the single parent homes, some of the home mom working 2 jobs. How's she going to help?
How's she going to be able to be available?
How?
There's only 24 hours in a day.
Exactly. How? But we can't just leave them out there.
And that can't continue to be
It can't continue. Some of the nonprofit organizations have told me in my ear they have a problem with getting in the education system to help. And on my push card, as you read, we will have programs where we can incorporate the partnerships with the Birmingham schools, where we can have services that go farther than the reach of the school. But the support for the teachers, let me say this, brothers and sisters, if the teacher don't have respect from the children, can they really teach them? Respect. If your children don't respect you in your home, can you really guide them? I mean, that's basic.
Yeah, that's basic, right?
And I told the people at the interviewers they had, I said a police dog. The dogs for the police. I forget what they call them. They call them something.
Canines.
Okay, canine patrol.
Okay.
That dog is considered an officer.
Correct.
If you slap or kick a police dog, you can get 5 to 10 years in prison for assault on an officer.
You respect the dog.
Now, that's a dog. But you can slap a teacher and get a little minimal suspension and be back at school a week or so with a candy bar. What do you think that does to the credibility of that teacher?
For sure.
It just kills him.
It kills him. And then, and so I told you sometimes I like to play devil's advocate, right?
Yes, sir.
So there's a root cause to that also.
Yes, sir.
And that's not just home. That's a bigger systematic issue too.
Yes, sir.
I think a lot of times, because we have parents that didn't get great marketable skills, they also lack coping skills.
Yes, sir.
So the way that they've learned how to
Mhm.
cope with things is the way that their kids have learned how to cope with things
Yes,
that
sir.
they agree with or don't disagree with or whatever.
Exactly.
And so when it comes from the home and you're in an environment where everybody around you in that environment has been bred with
Yeah.
those same
Mm,
lack of coping skills
that's right.
and cognitive
Just react.
just to react, right?
Yeah.
Then you expect the teacher to be in there and to have the utmost decorum and teaching these children and and they're getting cussed out by kids. And then
Wow.
and then you get teachers, they're human, and some of them are may have come from that and got an opportunity to break away, but that's still in them.
That's still in it.
So now they cussing back.
Teachers are
And,
human
and
too.
they're human, right?
Yeah.
It's not right, but it's reality. And I think that I always say somebody got to be the adult.
Well, in this case, since you mentioned that, let's talk about some of the why. You gave the why. Let's talk about a little treatment for that.
Okay.
There's a program, and it's in some of the schools by the Common Ground Program. It's called the HEAT. The HEAT program.
The HEAT program.
That's a therapy, brothers and sisters. I will suggest that at first, and if they don't come, I'm gonna require it that all of the students take a session of that HEAT therapy. It's HEAT. It's an acronym. The H stands for habilitation. You know, we always hear the word rehabilitation, but that is someone who was in shape and strong and then got weak or something happened, and you have to
rehab them back.
Rehab. But if I never was there, you have to habitate me. Ain't no re. You have to.
Words matter.
Okay, words are strong. The H stands for habilitate. The E stands for empower. The young people need to know, yeah, I am somebody. I have power. I have power over my actions and what I think.
There we go.
I have power to really put some levity on consequences that I'm getting involved in. You see, empowerment. The A stands for accountability. You will be accountable for what you do. And that have to be something general. And also, I mean, really push. And the T stands for therapy. I will request that. And if they don't come, I'm going to make it mandatory with God's help and the help of the other board members to make it mandatory, because we're dealing with these social issues, man. Like you were mentioning some of them, where the kids come from. We're dealing with these social issues. Well, we're not dealing with them, but the social issues contribute to the education system. You can't get around that. Well, you can't get around. We're dealing with students with special needs. We only see the bad side of it and not dealing with the social needs of it. Let me run this out here before we run out of time. For my statistical people, because the people who watch these podcasts, you are not the average person. You are, as Dr. E.B. Du Bois and them classified as, from the Black community, our talented 10th. That's what you are. The average person in our community, they're not watching podcasts. They're doing all of the other above, and I won't mention. But I'm going to say something to our listening audience. According to the Nielsberg report, and you can Google this, the average family household income between 2013 and 2023, in that 10-year period, the Black family household income only increased in Birmingham by 2%. And when you factor in, the cost of living increase, it goes to zero. So
it's negative.
Negative, and I was being conservative by saying
I'm
zero.
Gonna call it what it is. It's negative
because the cost of living shot way up. We done lost money in 10 years. So that's a direct reflection, and I don't care what anybody else says, because you got some of these fine talkers that try to divert that and says all of these other causes. The root cause of that is we are not turning out generation of graduates with high marketable skills and technical training or the ability to start their own business. That's the reason. And you don't hear anybody talking about that. And for my listening audience, I want you to put your thinking caps on. Did you ever hear someone that's running for a position of leadership give you those statistics about the household family's income over the past 10 years in Birmingham? Nobody want to talk about that because it's a direction reflection. All of the present leaders, Brother Benny, all of the present educators, administrators, all of these organizations that claim you're doing all this good work. When I tell you in that 10-year period, our average household income was zero or less than zero, all of you need to be quiet and listen to me. That is we're talking about root cause. See, in engineering and scientists, they would bring that up because that's a telltale of what we must do to reverse this thing. The focus on education and training. During that same period, Brother Benny and listening audience, the white families in Birmingham, their average median household income increased by 20%. Isn't that wonderful? Now, we're not comparing apples to apples here. Whites are in position of privilege. I'm telling you right now, when it comes to family generational wealth, and we know where they got their wealth from, but that's another show.
That's another story.
That's a whole nother show.
And then even with that, right? Because like I say, I don't like to say I play the fence, but then you got to understand they got their wealth. But then what happened is that because of their wealth and their favor and schools being built and designed for people like them so that they can go in, they got the marketable skills.
That's right.
They got the training.
That's right.
And then they had the network.
And that family support, that network. That's right.
Then they had the network, which
that's
is kind
what
of
that
like
means.
Family support is network. But even outside of that, right? Because I think about it like this. If I'm a high school graduate.
Yes, sir.
Right? And I come from a neighborhood where there aren't many high school graduates, right? And I end up going to secondary education, college, trade school, whatever, right?
Yes.
When I go to that next secondary education, are there people there that look like me that I can network with that show me
same background and all
that show me how we should do this to go to step 2?
Yeah.
You're giving me the skill set.
Right.
And now you got to give me
how
the
you
knowledge.
Navigate the system.
And navigate the system. How do I use my skill set in the workplace to maximize what I'm able to earn and give back? If that's my goal.
Yes, sir.
If that's my goal. Everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur and I have a day gig. And it is hard. Yeah. It's hard. I lose sleep.
Yeah.
But it's something that I said, you know what? I'm going to put this cape on, so I'm going to wear it.
Yes, sir.
Everybody ain't meant to wear that cape, and that's okay. But are you meant to, or are you capable, or do you have the resources to take the skill set that was given to you and maximize that skill set, whether it's being a barber, whether it's being a chef, whether it's someone that learns horticulture, whether it's a carpenter. You don't necessarily have to be a doctor to make $100,000 a year, or even to make a great living.
That is correct.
Even as an attorney.
And our people are so talented, man.
And we've got so many talents. And what happens is that even when we get past this, we've got to find that network of individuals, and that's where,
right.
So there's a lot of things that come into play, but I think that what you're doing is so amazing. To number one, throw your hat in the ring.
That's right.
Number two, to be able to articulate a plan. Because a lot of people say, hey, I want to run. I want to do this. I got some ideas, and we got to have ideas. It takes ideas to make it work, right? But do we have a plan that we can go from A, B, C, and D? Because we've done the RCA.
Right. And that's root cause analysis, right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir.
Because we've done an RCA. And now
Tell you,
we've got
you don't just talk, you're giving class. Go ahead. Go ahead.
we're giving actionable steps.
That's right.
People, process, execution.
That's right. That's
Have the
right.
right people in place.
You got to
have
have
the
the
right
right people.
process, and then you have the execution of the process.
You got to have the right people involved that's going to challenge the system.
Exactly.
Right now, according to the Alabama governance documents, a board of education person, they don't really have much power at all. And
Nope.
it's designed like that. The system say, I got this. I'm going to control this.
The system is the system.
You see? And if you got to have somebody that's going to challenge them.
Exactly.
You know what I told them at the forum?
There's no oversight committee.
That's right. Listen, I told the people, I say, when you pull up Birmingham City Schools website, the first person you see is the superintendent, Dr. Sullivan. And I've met Dr. Sullivan. I think he's a decent person.
Yes.
But you didn't elect him. Where are the people who you elected? Where's your board member? I didn't elect, and when I got a problem, I ain't calling the school, Dr. Sullivan, administrator. You should be able to call that person who you elected. You elect me in District 1, I would have a hotline where me and my staff would answer. I will go to the school with you if you have a problem. See, you don't have that now. You shouldn't have. That's why our young people, they don't even want to have nothing to do with the election process. A lot of them,
No
because
accountability.
they don't see the person who they elected accountable to them. You know. But anyway, I get like this because I love you all so much, and it's hard to people. We live in such a corrupt society that a lot of people find it difficult to believe that this is a man that's coming out of retirement and all he wants is to see us do better. There's a lot of people wrestle with that. They want to know what's his angle.
I'm gonna tell you something.
You follow me? Go
I
ahead.
do, and it may seem a little different from what you're saying, but this morning I went to go get my hair braided. You see, I went and got my hair braided, so I stopped to get gas.
In the technical world, that's fuel.
Fuel. I went to go get fuel.
Yeah.
Yes. I went to go get fuel. I'm gonna make sure words matter. I went to go get fuel.
Yes, sir.
And as I was stopping to fuel my car, gentleman said, "Hey, big homie, don't I know you?" I'm like, "You might." You know, back in my day when someone would say, "Who you is?" Well, back when I was younger, I was a little, you don't know me, but at 53, you might know me.
Yeah.
And then as I walked in the store, he said, "Man, I see you being consistent with what you're doing." He said, "You got more people that love you than hate you.
Wow.
Remember that." He said, "Keep on going, fighting the good fight. The people that need to listen are gonna listen, and the ones that aren't ready to listen,
yes,
if it's meant for them, they'll come around later."
That's right.
And
you just stay the course. That's right.
So stay the course. And the thing that about you and what you're doing, your whole journey has been staying the course, and that's what's got you to where you are now.
Yes, sir.
You've stayed the course.
Thank God for that.
And you're such a blessing, not only to me personally, but to the entire community, the city of Birmingham. I'm sure there's people outside this city that just really are blessed to not only know you, but to be able to have direct contact. And when you talk about people being able to have accountability, that means you're asking them to hold you accountable to what you say.
Exactly.
And that's what we don't see. And I think that when we talk about all of that, that's why it's so important to vote. That's why the vote has to matter.
It means everything.
Because if your vote matters and you can't hold the people accountable, then your vote is worthless.
It's worthless.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
To be able to have to go speak and vote is one thing. Yes, your vote counts. But what makes it stick is to be able to say, you know what? We voted you in. We'll get you up out of there.
Right.
If you don't do what we voted you in to do, right?
Right. And hope that you have a replacement that will. Because all of these years, brothers and sisters, the Black people in America, we are the most educated group of people of color on the planet. But yet and still we have these repetitive problems over and over again. Because really, Brother Benny, what it boils down to, we don't love God enough.
Ooh.
We don't love ourselves enough.
Mm.
We don't love each other enough. That's really the problem. If we loved
Loved
each
each other.
other, we wouldn't see each other suffer. We would put aside the politics. We would put aside the personal stuff and deal with the problems at hand. I called, Brother Benny, the lady whose name is one of the directors over this $330 million Coca-Cola processing plant they're building right off 59.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to talk to her. They have 700 jobs and they're increasing it by 50 more. They're bringing most of the people in from someplace else, I understand. But I want to align our young people and the people in this city, prepare them to feel them. That plant's supposed to open up in what, 27 or 28?
I think it's 27, but don't quote me.
All
Don't
right, it's
quote
one
me.
of the two. Why are we not preparing our young people to fill those jobs? Who's going to be the shipping and receiving manager,
Workforce
the warehouse
development.
manager? They're going to hire more processing. You know, I work for Chevron. Those processing equipment, the process operators in that Coca-Cola plant is no different than you see in the plants that make all of the petroleum chemicals. It just, instead of petroleum, they make
something else.
soft drink. But the processes are still the same. Who's going to operate those units? I called the lady and even sent emails. I never received a response back. Maybe as your elected official, I might get a call back then. But I'm asking you for, no, I'm just serious, bro.
I'm with you.
I'm proactive. I'm going to go to UAB and talk to them just like you hear me talking now. In the beginning, I'll come with a big smile and let them know they shouldn't be nurses and practical nurses and x-ray technicians and phlebotomists and all of the other medical assignments that should come out of any other city other than Birmingham. UAB is your largest employer in this city. All of our students who wish a medical field should be in there. And we have prepared them. Remember, we ain't just throwing them at them. They come in with black excellence in training. That's right.
That black excellence.
We should fill all those positions out of our students right here at home. In the evening, I can't help but from noticing when it's time for everybody to go home, I see all the trill of cars going back to leaving Birmingham, going back to Hoover, Vestavia, Trustville. Then people come here, they make their money, and then they're out of here and leaving us all still 80% of our students classified as poor at disadvantage. That blowing my mind.
See, that's another story there because I'm going to tell you this.
Yes.
I believe in leaving money in the hood, but I also believe that when you make more and you aspire to do better,
yes,
sometimes you're going to take your money where you think you get more.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yes, they may have employed people I don't know. Like I said, I'm devil's advocate, right? They may have employed people that came from Birmingham and went to there, and then they got their bread, and they went somewhere else. So how do we encourage those people to stay here and spend their tax dollars? Okay, that's a whole nother story.
That's another one. But listen, I've talked to many residents, whose name I won't mention, and they told me they live in Irondale now, and they told me I had to get out of there. They told me that. Okay, but like you're saying, remember we said it's your responsibility, food, clothing, and shelter. And if that shelter part, you should live in a decent neighborhood when you have to worry about people shooting up the house and the block. That's your responsibility as a responsible adult. I understand that. But you can't leave the people in that condition. Remember I said we don't love each other enough.
Correct.
I cannot make my big salary now and go leave and then just look at the news and say, yeah, them poor Negroes need to do something. You understand? You can't do it. Help the situation.
Right.
We can't just leave it like that.
And it takes a village. We get away from that all the time. It takes a village.
One of the pastors was telling me, and I do admire the clergy among our people, the pastors who are progressive, the progressive pastors. My hat goes off to you because Jesus didn't say worship me. He said follow me. He didn't say praise me. He said follow me. And they have some pastors who they're doing just that from their service in the community. But I had one pastor say, Say, Brother Walter, you have sometime we may have to question God. Say, God, why we have all this murder and killing and crime in the city among our people? And it come back to him and say, God come back and say, that's the same question that I was about to ask you. Why you have all that crime, violence
It's your
in your
city.
in your city? That's right. So, all brothers and sisters, I'm giving you all opportunity to get some of that sin off of us.
I would say,
Please,
select,
we need your vote,
Brother Walter.
and we're gonna make a difference. I guarantee you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And
Be a part of the movement.
listen, if you're watching this, I need you to share this, because even if you're not from the city, I need it to spread, because this message is not just for Birmingham.
That is
we want
correct.
him elected, but the message that we're talking about is worldwide.
That's right. All the inner
Black
cities
excellence,
are suffering.
Black excellence, educating ourselves, creating the right infrastructure, the 5 whys, doing some root cause analysis.
That's right.
And making sure that we, at the end of the day, love God, love ourselves, and
That's
love on
right.
each other.
And
And I
love
think
each
if we
other.
do all of those things, we're going to turn out all right.
That's right. We'll be able to stand up against any opposition. That's right.
Thank you so much
No,
again.
thank you, Brother Benny. I appreciate you. I thank God for you.
I thank God for you too. And with that, y'all, 101.1 The Culture, we are out.